Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge and financial freedom. I've only got one headline today. I saw something about Coinbase wanting to offer tokenized stocks. And on days like today, you'd still be able to trade on the stock market if you had some tokenized stocks. Let's dive into that real quick. We got that stock heat map pulled up for you like always. It's going to be a quick one because it is Juneteenth and the stock market is closed. We've got Apple sitting up 0.48% off of its close yesterday. We've got Nvidia up 0.94%. We've got Berkshire Hathaway up 0.34%. Amazon sitting to the downside 1.07%. We got Eli Lilly down 0.78%. We've got ExxonMobil down 0.71%. We've got Tesla sitting towards the upside quite nicely, 1.8%. We've got P&G sitting to the downside, 0.32%. Microsoft sitting up 0.46%. We've got Google sitting down 1.83%. We've got Meta sitting down 0.21%. Let's hop over to the crypto side of things. We are seeing quite a mixed bag this morning. Scrolling on down, we got Bitcoin up 0.3%, Ethereum up 0.6%. We've got XRP up 0.8%. We've got BNB sitting down 0.4% right now. Solana down 0.7%. Seeing some green on the hourly on Solana though. We do have Tron sitting up 0.5%. Dogecoin sitting up 0.6%. We've got Cardano down 1.2%. Hyperliquid sitting down 3.7%. We've got SWI up 2.3%. Bitcoin Cash sitting down 0.9%. Chainlink up 3.3% right now. We've got Leo token holding quite steady as always, down 0.01%. We've got Stellar Lumens up 0.5%. Avalanche down 2.5%. We've got TON up 0.1%. We've got Shiba Inu with no change on the board this morning, and Litecoin up 0.1%, 1% right now, holding that number 20 spot from H-bar that it took this week. On the fear and greeds, the stock side still sitting in that neutral range, up a point though, almost back in that light greed. We do have the crypto side of things back in light greed after we swept a lot of bottom side liquidity on these liquidation heat map for the day. We've got quite a bit of liquidity towards the top side. We'll have to dive into that Bitcoin chart in just a second, but I do think you see some volatility today, especially since the stock market is closed. We do have some sitting down at that 300 point towards the bottom side, right above one of those key areas we were talking about yesterday. For the top side though, we've got quite a broad range, starting at 105, almost 800 there, ranging all the way up to $106,000. You know, that's an area we were talking about wanting to see turned back into some support. I do think it might be a little bit of a resistance area for now. Let's take a look at that 3-day, see where that extremely volatile move might send us if we get a lot of liquidity in the markets today. We do have that top side range starting at about the same point, $106,000 for that bottom side, ranging all the way up to about $106,500 for the top side. Zooming on out, take a look at that 1 week, looking quite similar to what we've seen all week, with that bottom side liquidity really being that hot spot. We've got about $1 billion down there, starting at that 102,900, which is sitting right above that fair value gap we've been talking about. Zooming on out, take a look at that 2 week, and that's back towards the top side for all of the liquidity. We still do have that at about 100 to 400 for the bottom side, and a very broad range on the top side. Back at the highs, $110,000, ranging all the way up towards $111,000. Let's hop over to the economic calendar for today. It is going to be quite a light day on the American side because, markets are closed. It is a federal holiday with Juneteenth. We do get a little bit of data coming out of the rest of the world, though. That big one's going to be that core inflation rate year over year, inflation rate month over month, and year over year for Japan at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you're going to be trading those Asian market time frames, that's going to be that big data to watch out for. We also get that review of the Bank of Japan's monetary policy meetings minutes. So that's another one to kind of keep your eye out. What are they looking for going forward for their next rate decision? Let's hop over to that Bitcoin chart and say good morning to everyone in the chat. Let's zoom that back on out to the daily so you get that higher time frame look. And let's see who's in the chat this morning. We had Duality C first in here saying good morning. Good morning, good morning to you. We've got K Diggity in here. Good morning to you, sir. We've got Kyle Fields in the chat with the yo. Good morning to you, Kyle Fields. We've got Blue Collar Trader saying good morning, everyone. Good morning to you. We've got HRJ Trading in the chat. Good morning to you. I don't see you here this bright and early very often, so I'm glad you made it. We've got Jay Violet as well saying good morning, everyone. Good evening to you, Jay Violet. I know you're quite ahead of us in the day. We've got Donato Cabrera in the chats as well. Good morning to you, Donato Cabrera. Let's hop into this. Oh, and sliding in right as I was about to get to that Bitcoin chart, we've got Crypto Billy in the chats. Good morning to you, Billy. Hope you're having a great day so far. Let's hop into this daily look on Bitcoin because we are seeing us get that nice strong bounce off of the 50% line on our fib extensions here, and we're starting to see just a little bit of sideways momentum on our oscillators. We do have that MACD getting that sideways momentum as we start approaching the zero line here. Let's zoom that on in a little bit better. There we go. We got that sideways momentum on the prime oscillator as well. Money flow really starting to get close to that zero line, and if we see that dip into the red here, I would be a little bit concerned as we're holding up some key areas, and that would kind of lead to that potential of a real bottom side sweep. We do have some key levels to the bottom side of us, though. That area I've kind of been watching for is right around an area Piper talked about yesterday. He had talked about 96,500, and that's going to be this 382 on our fib extensions here. I have an order placed a little bit higher. That's coming in at about 97,700, and that's the bottom side of this fair value gap here. If we do dip that far, kind of a nice area to scoop up some Bitcoin as we try to make our way back up towards these levels eventually and really sweep all of that topside liquidity. There is some liquidity that's sitting down here on those shorter term time frames, and that's really kind of what I'd be looking for. You do have us printing larger red candles on the histogram, but they're very light red candles as our volume continues to slow down here on the daily, and we're really waiting on that money flow to start coming back in on Bitcoin on our higher term time frames. Zooming on into the 4 hour, that 4 hour also looking like it's bumping up against some resistance here. We did talk about seeing us come back up towards about $105,000 yesterday, and that's around the area that we had got back up to before we started to see those top side wicks coming in on the 4 hour candles here. You do have both the MACD and the prime oscillator getting that curvature back towards the upside here. So if we can get that with some money flow coming back in today, which could happen since the stock market is closed, you might make that move back up towards $106,000. Really sweep that topside liquidity before we try to see if we can clear out that $1 billion that is residing right below our levels here. MACD printing some smaller red candles here on the histogram as it gets that curvature back towards the upside. Prime oscillator sitting light red as money flow continues to come out and volumes holding quite steady here. So we're waiting to see on these shorter term time frames if we can get some money flow to start coming in that really bleeds over into the 1 hour, because that 1 hour also looking a little bit toppy. So here we are breaking the zero line here, but starting to get some sideways momentum as we're bumping up against that level we had talked about yesterday, that 105 level, where we saw all of this wicking action from the top side. We did see a little bit of a sweep above that to grab some liquidity there, and we still do have a broad range towards the top side of us, starting at that 106 all the way down towards that wicking action there. So it does lead for a little bit of some top side movement if we can see that money flow start coming in. That 1 hour still sitting in the red here, but you can see your volume has started to increase on the hourly. So really waiting to see that volume increase come with some positive money flow instead of continuing to see some selling pressure on the hourly. Looking at that 15-minute and what the morning might be bringing our way here, we're starting to get to that point where you could potentially see some positive money flow. You do have that potential for some more sideways ranging here in the early mornings as we try to cool this prime oscillator and MACD back off. You do have your volume, which has started to slow down, not too unexpected, as we are starting to get into that little bit of a lull zone between Europe and the United States opening here. You do have your money flow still sitting in the red on the 15-minute, really waiting for that to get back towards the positive. Might need to cool these oscillators off first, kind of seeing if we can sweep some of this short-term area here. Going to be that 104-400 area that we kind of look for a sweep of some of the bottom side of this range, and then make that push back up towards $106,000. There's a lot of liquidity towards the top side on both that daily chart, on the 3 hour chart, on that 3-day chart, and the 2-week chart as well. So a lot of liquidity towards the top side before we try to sweep some of that bottom side liquidity that's residing right above this fair value gap here. Do we got any alt requests that you want me to take a look at for today? If so, go ahead, drop them in the chat, and we'll hop over to that news article, because this was a biggie. I did see this coming out yesterday. Didn't get a chance to really touch on it when we were getting those interest rate decisions, which looked like no change. So Coinbase seeks SEC greenlight to issue tokenized stock. Coinbase reportedly seeks approval from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission to offer tokenized equity, digitized version of traditional stocks on its platform. If successful, the fund will expand the crypto exchange's blockchain-based equity trading and pit it against hedge funds, Robinhood, and Charles Schwab. Chief Legal Officer Paul Grewald confirmed that the initiative in a Tuesday interview with Reuters, where he called tokenized equity trading a huge priority for Coinbase. The company hopes the SEC will grant a no-action letter or similar exemptive relief to provide legal certainty needed to proceed without facing enforcement action. Coinbase seeks green light to issue tokenized stocks. The tokenized equities are digital representations of stock that can be traded on blockchain platforms. They do not represent direct ownership in the traditional sense, but act as a proxy tokens embedded in real shares. Supporters argue that tokenized equities could help improve financial market activity by lowering costs, speeding up settlements, and allowing trading to occur outside standard market hours. However, naysayers and regulatory experts still see asset tokenization as a questionable venture. According to recent World Economic Forum report, the absence of secondary market liquidity and globally recognized regulatory standard could set the adoption of tokenized equities back. I do think this is going to be coming here eventually, whether it is this time with Coinbase or not. We will start seeing tokenized real-world assets heading our way, because there's going to be a lot of liquidity behind that, especially since they're going to be buying the actual asset in the background and it'll be tied to that tokenized asset. This will allow TradFi markets to have a lot of liquidity coming in from other countries that aren't able to buy on the New York Stock Exchange, and will allow for that aftermarket trading as well. Of course, it will be settled up in the actual trading hours, and we'll kind of have to see how this all plays out. We got Paul Caruso in the chat. Good morning to you. And we got Crypto Billy asking for Pax Gold. I can definitely take a look at that. Let me get it added to the list. Any other assets anyone would like me to take a look at, go ahead, drop them in the chat now. Since you asked for Pax Gold, let's take a look at gold as well, because we got that nice strong move off of the 382 exactly like I was hoping for yesterday. You can see that strong wicking action off of the 382 as we're trying to get that move back up towards our short-term resistance at $3,400. This is really where you see gold bumping up against. We saw gold bumping up against yesterday before we really got that bottom side movement towards the 382, looking for some continued upside, as it looks like we've bottomed out on all of the selling pressure and volume holding quite steady here in the green. Got a reversal signal that is stacked up here with another one way back here at the beginning of our sideways range. So really waiting to see all these bullish divergences start to play out as we see that money flow start coming back in. So let's hop over to Pax Gold. Pax Gold. I know it's not on my list anywhere. Let's get that on the crypto, and I guess we're going to go with it on Kraken, because I'm not seeing it anywhere else. And you're seeing some nice correlations with that gold chart, which is why I wanted to start out there. Let's get this 4 hour pulled up here. It looks like it's quite a bit more volatile. Let's scroll it on out towards that daily look here. Very, very nice uptrend here. Kind of hard to really get any fib levels unless we do a fib extension here, going from bottoms to top to bottom. We'll go with this closer level here, looking like we're finding some support at the 382. Look, oh, might be some resistance at that 382. We're trying to get back towards it. Ooh, Control Z. Let me lock that real quick. There we go. Finding some resistance at the 50% line and the 382 this morning. Really waiting to see if that money flow starts coming back in. Let's scroll this on in towards that 4-hour look and see what we'd be looking at for the day going into tomorrow. We do see the need for a little more cool off here, as the 382 looks like it might be coming. Pax gold. It's gold. It is gold, goober. Well, Pax gold is the crypto on gold, right? It's tokenized gold. Yep. So there we go. Looking at that 382 as a little bit of some resistance here. Trying to get that money flow to come back in the same way that we're waiting on gold's money flow to really come back in. You do have the 4-hour looking quite nice for a little bit more sideways momentum before we get that push back above the 382 there. Getting some sideways momentum on the MACD. Prime oscillator still curving towards the downside here as your volume started to slow down quite a bit and your money flow sitting lightly in the red on the 4-hour. Let's zoom that on in. Take a look at the hourly. That hourly trying to get back above that 382. That was held up as some support there. You do have some hidden bullish divergences here. Your MACD and prime oscillator both getting that curvature back towards the upside here. You can see that MACD wants to break that indicator line here. Your money flows very strongly in the green here. Your volume's holding up quite steady. Got two reversal signals and really waiting for that increase of volume with this increase of money flow. Got a strong resistance at that same at about that same area we were talking about on gold. There is a little bit of a difference on those prices. That's going to be 3,433 as some resistance on Pax gold there. We'll make that a little bit thinner because it is going to be that short-term resistance area. Let's zoom this on in. Take a look at the 15-minute and what the morning might be bringing our way here. And that's where you might see that 382 come in as some short-term resistance before we really try to sweep all of the liquidity that would be below these wicks and then try to make that pushback up there. Any other assets? Let's see. I'm not seeing any other assets that were requested. So let's take a look at some ADA. It got back down to some of those levels. You can buy. It's on Coinbase now. That's nice. I did see that Coinbase had listed it quite a while ago. I think me and CCM and Crypto Bedell had done a show on it back when it was listed. Because I think the week before that, we'd been doing a gold special on HODL the Line. And I talked about wanting to see you really be able to buy a gold tokenized asset on Coinbase. And then they dropped a gold tokenized asset on Coinbase. So it was quite nice to see. Let's zoom ADA out to that 4-hour and see what we're looking at. Looks like we might continue to make that move back down to 57 cents. We did have that as an area we had talked about yesterday. Really want to see ADA hold up at those levels. Will depend a lot on how we see Bitcoin moving. I do think we make that push back up towards 60 cents, see that come in as some resistance before we make that stronger move back down to 57 cents. We do have money flow sitting in the red. We've got a hidden bullish divergence here that we're really waiting to play out. I do think we stack up another one of those as we see that MACD and prime oscillator getting that slight sideways momentum, but looking like that indicator line might be some resistance on the MACD for now. As we zoom this on in, take a look and see that hourly is a little bit toppy here. Volume coming on in, but really not coming with any strength here on that money flow. Zooming on in, take a look at that 15-minute and what the morning might be bringing our way here. And that 15-minute also looking toppy, just like everything else that we had looked at. Getting that sideways momentum on the MACD and the prime oscillator. Volume slowed up just a bit as we're in that weird range between Europe and the US trading area, waiting for that push of money flow and volume to come on in this morning to try to make that push back up towards 62 cents and then see if we can cool it on down quite a bit on those higher term time frames down at that 57-cent point. All right, I see Chainlink requested. We can definitely take a look at that one. We got about 5 minutes left before we head over towards that morning motivational video. I see lasers go pew pew in the chat. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're having a great day so far. Let's zoom Chainlink out. Take a look at that daily. It has been quite a while since we've taken a look at Chainlink. Looking like that golden pocket coming in as some resistance right now. And trying to make that move back down towards $11.88. We'll kind of have to see if this 900 moving average continues to hold up as some support here, because that's where we've been getting all of our bounces. But this golden pocket's looking like some resistance for now. We did see that nice move off of the 900 moving average all over again, as here on the daily you're starting to get that sideways momentum on both your MACD and prime oscillator here. Volume still low on Link, just like it is on everything else on that daily, so we're really waiting on that volume to increase with some positive money flow. Let's zoom it on in, take a look at the 4 hour looking like you're getting that stronger move towards the upside on the MACD and your prime oscillator as well. Really going to need to sweep the bottom side, the top side at $14 to see that turned into some support before we can make that stronger move back up towards the golden pocket. So that's that area I would potentially look for some resistance if we continue to make that move back towards the upside there. Zoom it on in, take a look at that hourly. Also looking a bit toppy here for Chainlink as you're making those strong moves up. You've got a hidden divergence here that is stacked up. Your prime oscillator and MACD both at that point where they're starting to see just a little bit of sideways momentum coming in, but your volume's still increasing here, really waiting on that to come in with some money flow. That's going to be where we'd start to look for some resistance back up here if we can continue to see that money volume bleeding over from that 15-minute into the hourly and coming in with that money flow. Let's get that locked there. There we go. And take a look at that 15-minute. Looking a little more toppy than the rest of everything we've looked at here. You've got a reversal signal that and overbought signal that had flashed back here, stacked up some bearish divergences, got a reversal signal here, more overbought signals coming in here as you're got that volume slowly decreasing here. So really waiting on that cool off here. Might see that stronger support coming in at the bottom side of this short-term sideways range here. You did have that nice little bit of some sweeps coming in. I would look for some support back down at about $12.80 to see if we can get back up towards that top side, and then really see if on the daily we have that continuation a little bit further down towards $11.88. So looking like we're going to maintain this sideways range for now, try to get back up towards the highs there before we really sweep some of what would be bottom side liquidity here. It is 5:29 and time to head over towards that morning motivational video. I appreciate every single one of you for tuning on in. I will see y'all at the next one. Make sure to tune into the rest of the shows on the Piper Academy. We've got that morning market report at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Make sure to tune into that one. We'll be getting a breakdown of the interest rate decision from yesterday and the breakdown of Jerome Powell's speech afterwards. We've got Trading with OC at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, a great place to learn how to chart or to refresh your charting skills. And we've got Markets After Dark with Lunar Beaches Crypto as well. We do have a new affiliate. Go ahead, check out that link in the description. It is Optory. If you want to delete your data from data brokers, you're tired of getting those really scammy texts, all of that, go ahead, check out that link in the description. They will help you delete all of your data from data brokers. Your home address, your phone number, all of that information gone from data brokers, and a little bit less scammy text. All right, thanks for tuning in. I will see y'all at the next one. Make sure to wake up because today's going to be a good day.